I have found that one of the most important ingredients to quality car repair, whether you're repairing it yourself or having it repaired, is to use good quality parts. That's why I've been using and recommending Napa parts for many years. They fit, they work, and they last. And they have the Napa name backing that up. Professionals do not like having to do a job over, and that's why so many professional shops use Napa Auto Parts. My guess is that you don't want to do the job over either, and that's why you should use Napa Parts also. So for a Napa Auto Parts store near you, go to NapaOnline.com and search for the store that is most convenient for you. You'll also see a lot of neat specials and some very useful information. So get the good stuff. Get Napa Auto Parts.
Good morning and welcome to the C Auto Show. Our experts, Aaron Clements and Ryan Mooney, are cranked up and ready to roll. Here's your chance to get free advice, tips, and information about your car, truck, and SUV. It's the C Auto Show.
And I am Aaron Clements.
I'm John Ryan.
And we're here to share information on ways to make your car safer, to make it more dependable, and to make it last longer for less money and less hassle. And our favorite way to do that is by the telephone. Of course, you can write in a lot of other ways you can do it, but our favorite is the telephone because we get to talk to you, and that's what we enjoy doing. And we want to say thank you to all that called during the first hour, and we were sitting on go for the second hour. And we want to let you know that you can give us a call. That's 706-863-5800, and that's Saturdays 8 to 10 from anywhere that you might be at. So don't hesitate to give us a call and ask that question. And John Ryan, who will we be going to first?
It looks like we're going to Richard next, man.
Fantastic. Good morning, Richard, and welcome to the C Auto Show.
Morning. How are y'all?
We are doing very well. Wait, do I see Tech Tip on the screen?
That's what I see.
He might be calling to answer the Tech Tip quiz.
Yes, I am.
All right, Richard, hold on 1 second and let us get the Blue up here. Blue has done his thing, and so we are ready for you. Wait, Richard, you know what I really need to do is give that question one more time because
for the new
some
hour.
people may not have heard it. Billy owns a 2002 Chevrolet Z71 truck. He was in the woods at 6 a.m. for hunting. When he pulled into the woods, his truck was safe to drive. When he pulled out of that night, the truck was unsafe. Why was the truck safe going in that morning and unsafe coming out that night? And we are ready for you.
Well, just like vehicles this morning, covered with snow.
Oh, Richard. And what now? Snow is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But at that time, it actually wasn't snowing. What else could have happened that got all over the place? It had rained the day before, actually.
And he was hunting.
Mud and everything.
Richard, you little silver-tongued devil. That's right. Billy's 2002 Chevrolet Z71 truck was nice and clean when he went into the woods, and of course, he could see and be seen very nicely. And since it had been raining the day before while he was in the woods, the mud just covered the lights. And when he left that night, he couldn't see very well because the headlights were very dirty, and other drivers couldn't see him because all of his tail lights and everything was just covered with mud. Actually, pretty dangerous situation. But Richard, you are not covered with mud. You are a Tech Tip quiz winner, and stay on the line. And well, we have your information, Richard.
We have your address.
Yeah, you can come
very
by
well,
and your license plate number.
Exactly, and now you can come by and pick up your Tech Tip quiz golf shirt, coffee mug, hat, all the other items there. And congratulations, Richard. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good day.
And you too, Richard. We appreciate it very much. Okay, the number to dial, 706-863-5800. Any question on any Saturday morning, 8 to 10, give us a call. And
let's go over to Melvin.
Perfect. Good morning, Melvin, and welcome to the C Auto Show.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing very well. What can we help with?
I have a 2009 smart car.
Mm-hmm.
that when you put it in drive, it stays in park for a while, or it actually goes in drive.
Uh-huh.
And there's a recall on this car, but we can't find anybody around here that works on these cars.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, Melvin. The good thing is a recall means it's free. Of course, a bulletin would mean that's something you have to pay for. So it would be difficult finding somebody that could, of course, take care of that free of charge for you. Because again, that's obviously the most common. If it's a recall, they would take care of it hands down, no questions. Did they mention what the recall actually was?
It's something to do with the computer, the transmission computer or something.
Possibly reflashing it maybe to where it will address that issue, I would assume.
Well, I didn't know I had a recall until I Googled it.
Right.
And it showed up a recall, and on the Carfax, it doesn't show that this car has ever been taken back.
Oh, okay, I see.
So we bought it from a dealership here in Aiken,
Right.
But,
yeah, as far as everyday working now, I will say that most of the computer system on that particular vehicle we can't reflash. As far as everyday servicing, of course we can definitely take care of that for you. Unfortunately, on a computer type program, there's a lot that we can do, but unfortunately, again, not the reflashing. And of course, I would hate to, even if we could charge for it versus being free, but. Aaron, what'd you find over there? Did you look up repair facilities?
Well, no, I was going to mention to Melvin. I thought when he mentioned smart car, someone had sent me a picture, and this when I mentioned this is definitely a not true scenario, because actually the smart cars are very safe in an accident.
Yeah, they are.
They're built well. But they sent me a picture of a smart car that was involved in an accident, and kind of the front end was knocked off, but.
Yeah, it's just about the whole front was destroyed.
Actually, the place where the person is, it was still intact.
Perfect,
but the thing said, Wisconsin couple was treated for minor injuries at the local hospital emergency after their smart car hit a squirrel on Highway 8. The squirrel refused treatment and left the scene.
I have one other question then.
Sure.
The only place that we could find was in Atlanta or Charleston. So if I can't get the car to there and I have it towed there, is the towing my responsibility?
I believe so, unfortunately. I know we've kind of ran into that with several different vehicles that were under factory warranty, with as little as 5,000 miles on them. And the customers did mention a lot of times they would have to, of course, pay to transport the vehicle to that facility.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we appreciate the phone call.
And Melvin, we really appreciate it. And I like cars like that. I really do. And,
Absolutely.
And that's the reason I enjoy the Prius.
Well, that's why I like, of course, doing this job. You get to drive a lot of those. I mean, I would never drive a smart car had I have not, worked here, because, of course, you get to drive so many different cars. And they're awesome. I mean, they really are. They're fun to drive.
And actually, they're very safe cars.
They're very safe. Inside's a lot bigger than you would think it is. I mean, you're not going to carry a sheet of plywood home or anything like that, but that's not what that's for. I mean, it's a fun vehicle. It really is.
But I think what we look at on a lot of these different type cars, when you get into the Prius, the smart car, you run into some electric cars, full electric cars. You run into just different models. It all depends on your driving habits.
Well, habits and needs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and needs is would have been the correct term, actually, because some people, if you drive back and forth to Atlanta every day, of course, you wouldn't want a full electric car.
Right.
You would run into issues.
Tennis shoe mode.
But if you live downtown and you drive, you'll be using it mostly for in-town driving and, and things like that.
Well, I mean, you live in Charleston or something like that, where, beach or whatnot, a little beach community, you need something electric.
Yeah. So each car has their pros and cons, and that's what's good that we have so many different ones available. I'm going to mention one quick thing before we go to that next break. As we talk about C and B scene during the show, it's important to remember the wiper blades. Bad wiper blades can restrict the visibility. They can make noises, and that increases the driver's stress level also. And something that a lot of people don't think about, and I remember you mentioning something about this one time before.
Right.
It has to do with the scratching of the windshield.
Yeah, I actually purchased a vehicle. It was something I didn't really notice. Of course, when you go to buy a car, it's all detailed up and all that stuff. This was some years ago. Bought it. Of course, I did a few things to it right off the bat. Normal services, changed the wiper blades, and happened to, shortly after bought it and took it on a trip, and noticed that the windshield wiper blades that I had replaced evidently had been on there for a long, long time, and it actually had cut grooves into the windshield, and it was very difficult to see if the sun was on it just right. I actually ended up replacing the windshield because I just could not stand it. But that was, just like you mentioned, it was because the windshield wipers, very inexpensive, wipers hadn't been replaced, costed a pretty penny for a windshield. So
what you find if they get real hard and don't
become almost vinyl.
Yeah, they can actually just scratch. Now, one thing that I'm curious about, have you tried the any of the solution that you put in your washer jug that melts the ice?
Not that melts the ice. I mean, of course, our shop washer fluid's, freeze protected, so it doesn't freeze. But no, I have not tried that.
Yeah. My wife, Joy, she put some in her car. She liked it. She said it does melt the snow off when you hit the washers. One of my fears is if you have that much frost on your windshield, though, especially if you've got ice, to run the washer, you automatically cut the wiper on.
Yeah.
And then you would stand a chance on having stripping out a motor.
Right. Or breaking a wiper arm.
And that is something to remember in the wintertime. If you walk out and your ice or your windshield is full of ice and everything's frozen, you don't want to cut your wipers on automatically because you can strip out the motor because they may be frozen in place and stuck.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, there is a circuit breaker on most that the circuit breaker would cut the system off real quick, and then it would cool back down.
And no doubt that's true. A lot of them do have that, especially in wire diagrams. But, the damage is done at that point. Yeah. Once that motor gets, energized and then realizes that it's pulling too many amps and that circuit breaker lifts, it's still too late.
Okay. Want to remind everyone, you can give us a call, and the number to call is 706-863-5800. And that's any location that you might be at, and that's Saturday mornings 8 to 10. And John Ryan, we were a little torn on mentioning this quick joke, but I'm gonna tell
not
you anyway.
we.
Yeah.
No, this is all in.
Yeah, we were talking about different little
corny jokes
here and there, corny jokes. Yeah, and I mentioned there was this couple and they were driving to Florida.
Right.
And as they were driving, they had a convertible car, and it was an older couple.
They saw a billboard or something. Didn't
they were riding along. They saw a billboard, and it said, "Feel younger, take X-Lax." And so they said, "Wow, that sounds kind of neat." So they pulled over at the next store that they seen, and they bought the X-Lax. And they took about an hour later. They were riding along, and she said, "Do you feel younger?" And he looked at her. He said, "No, but I sure did a childish thing."
Oh man,
that's probably one that it'd be better not to tell. But
why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay, want to remind you can give us a call 706-863-5800. We're talking about see and be seen. And it turned out to be a really neat day to do that because the visibility was very low in a lot of different locations.
Probably safe to say in most of the areas that we're playing.
Yeah, and that is absolutely true. And we've talked about things along the lines of wiper blades. We've talked about the lighting system, how important it is to keep your lighting system. And one thing that we mentioned a little earlier during the first hour was about the cloudy headlights.
Yeah.
How your headlights used to be made out of glass, and now the front part of them is a plastic type material, and the sunlight that can deteriorate that.
It breaks it down in the road grime and everything that sticks to the front of it.
And we mentioned it at one time. You used to have to replace that whole assembly, but now you can get the headlight restoration.
Yeah.
And that's really a neat system. It's a process that takes about an hour in most cases, an hour and a half.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit more, just depending on how bad they are. But it's definitely a better, service than, of course, replacing those expensive headlights.
Exactly, because replacing headlights, it's a lot more involved. The parts are expensive. Then you have to get them re-aimed.
Right.
And just a lot of other things to do. So if you have those cloudy headlights, consider a headlight restoration. We're going to take a real quick break. When we return, I'll give some tips on what you can do to help you on that cold morning.
All right.
Aaron Clements for Napa Auto Care Center.
Regular maintenance is the key to getting the most out of your vehicle, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice trust and peace of mind when finding a repair center for your automobile. Napa Auto Care Centers are built around a high-quality standard whereby independent repair business owners are invited to join based on integrity, qualifications, and expertise. That's how Napa Auto Care ensures that you get the best-in-class service that you deserve. From routine maintenance to major repairs, you are covered with ASE-certified technicians who use high-quality Napa parts and provide exceptional work that you can feel confident about, knowing it's backed by a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. With the largest network of independent technicians in the U.S., a Napa Auto Care Center is sure to be near wherever you may be.
Thanks, Aaron. For a list of Napa Auto Care Centers near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com or dial 1-800-LET-NAPA.
What's the smart way to buy a nice used car, Aaron?
You have two routes that you can go, Sherry. You can decide what you want and what you plan to spend. Then you can hit the internet to find a car, take your weekend or time off work, and go look for the car, and then hope that the person who's selling the car is honest and that the title is good, because once you buy it, you are on your own. The second way, my personal favorite, is to trust an honest and dependable professional who has been in the automobile business for over 30 years. And instead of spending your weekend looking at cars, you can ask your used car advisor to find a vehicle that you really want. If he doesn't already have it in stock, then you confidently buy the car from Philip Hawkins at Philip Hawkins Motor Company. Call 803-593-5990 or visit their showroom at 2000 Jefferson Davis Highway in Graniteville, South Carolina. For more information, go to hawkinsmc.com.
Thanks, Aaron. I'll call Philip Hawkins today. Thanks for listening to the CNC Auto Show with Aaron Clements and Ryan Mooney, two real live automotive maintenance and repair experts who actually work on all kinds of vehicles every week. So they're always up to date on what's happening in the automotive world. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes, so don't you dare touch that dial.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
I might look like an adult, like a person who could possibly be a parent, but I have no idea how to talk like one. And everyone knows that if you want to be a parent, you have to sound good when you say things like, "Don't make me turn this car around," or "because I said so," or "Don't make me come back there." I don't even really know what those things mean, but I know that I actually believed my parents when they said them to me. How did they manage to sound so convincing? Here we go. "Don't make me come back there." Ugh, no, that's not tough enough at all. Kids can sense weakness. "Don't make me come back there." Ooh, yeah, that's better. In fact, that kind of sounded like my dad. Weird.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to listen to you practice your dad voice. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
If you are looking for a Napa Auto Care Center to service and repair your vehicle, consider Nuttall Tire. Nuttall Tire is located at 2405 Millwood Avenue. Nuttall Tire are your tire experts, and they provide professional automotive services, including all major and minor repairs. Most repairs come with a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty with the Napa name to back it up. They have been providing automotive service to the Lexington, Dentsville, and surrounding areas for over 30 years. That's over 3 generations of family-owned and operated service. It's their family serving yours. Nuttall's Tire has a nice, comfortable waiting room with free Wi-Fi where you can relax with a cup of their fresh coffee, or they are happy to provide local shuttle service back to your home or office. To request a quote, make an appointment, or to learn more about Nuttall's Tire, give them a call at 803-254-7988 or visit their website at nuttalltire.com.
You're listening to the CNC Automotive Show.
And just before we go to those callers, I mentioned a quick tip, what you can do on a cold morning if you're not one of those that park in the garage. If you park outside, don't go and jump in your car and try to drive while peeking through that little bitty spot at the bottom of the windshield, or driving with your head out the window. It's cold. It's uncomfortable.
You could always use your camera phone. Just put it outside.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
You can take a video and then get back.
No, I'm saying just you look at the screen. The camera's looking at the road.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Very good, very good. I'm not sure if I'll have to try it and see what it's like. Now, it's dangerous for you and also the people around you, especially the person jogging in the morning down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, where will we be going to?
Let's go over to John, Aaron.
Good morning, John, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning. First, John Ryan, don't be giving my kids any ideas on how to see through a bad windshield.
That would do it, wouldn't
They'll
it?
have their phone stuck out there today and running into a tree or something.
Never know.
They'll hear it on the radio, and if it's on the radio, it must be true.
At least they could blame the phone at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they blame Daddy. I guarantee that's who gets blamed. But I've got, it's an 06, my son's truck is an 06 Venture van that once in a blue moon, literally about 4 times a year, I've got a new battery in the truck. I've had all the diagnostics done. I think I can. He lives up in Athens, but you turn the key and there's nothing. There's no power at all. And then maybe wait 10, 15 minutes, sometime an hour, and then it'll start back up. And I've not been able to find anybody that had any idea what it might be. We already checked everything that was common.
I see John Ryan smiling. I think he's got something.
Was he smiling? He wants to buy my truck.
I'm on the problem. I'm gonna see if his answer would be the same as my answer.
Well, I had a few more questions for you. When you say nothing happens, are we talking about no dash lights, no nothing, like dead, like as if it didn't have a battery in it at all?
Just like it's sitting there like a brick.
Okay, so you turn the key and no lights, no dash lights, no dings, no nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. There's, if it was where the dash lights come on and, of course, you turn the key and, it doesn't start, I'll be going in a different direction. But if there is absolutely no power, there's only a few things it could be. Of course, that battery goes straight to a fuse block that is mounted right above it. So there's a wire that goes from there to the fuse box. That's, of course, how it gets power. The ground goes straight to the chassis. Rarely see any problems with the grounds. Sounds crazy, but with side post battery terminals, they act up once or twice a year. I mean, you can just count on it. And
this is vertical mount terminal.
That's
looks
right.
Like one more inch would go through the hood.
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
Those terminals, if they get slightly loose, if the negative gets slightly loose, of course, if corrosion builds up between them, under 99% of circumstances, they do fine. They crank up. The energy goes across, from the battery to the cable. But it's just not uncommon. Anytime somebody says it does it once in a blue moon or twice a year or something like that, that's where we go and inspect. And just really make sure they're clean. It's a little 8mm bolt. They're very inexpensive. We typically replace those because, again, there's not much that can do it. When you turn that ignition switch, you're going to get something. A battery or a light will come on or a radio will come on. But with you saying it's dead as a brick, that means that you are missing of course, battery power somewhere.
And, John, when we repair those, you can't just go in and try to just scrape a little bit
off.
Yeah,
you can't. Wire brush won't do it or anything like that.
Build up really, really heavy to where we have to bend the rubber off of it.
That's right.
And then clean each side really good and then put it back on.
The trick about those terminals, too, is all that is covered up. If you look at the battery, you're going to look at it, it's going to look brand new, no corrosion at all. The trouble is the corrosion in between the connections, so you physically have to remove it.
This is a brand new battery.
And that's what we see a lot of times. Hey, I thought it was the battery. I put a battery in it, started putting these relays in it, and you can go all over the sun, for replacing it. But by far the most common, I guess if you want to call that a weird problem electrical like that on a side post battery that's what we find.
Let me see if I would have been on the same page as John Ryan. John Ryan, if it would have had lights come on the dash,
okay,
turn the key, nothing happened, and then he would come back, say 15 minutes later, and it would start. What were you thinking?
Yeah,
I knew you were going to ask that question, so I was trying to think more into that. Of course, no doubt starters with a bad spot can do that, but also a relay. I was thinking the possibility of a security issue. No doubt,
if it had security system on it.
Very good, yeah.
Because the security system will lock you out for 10, 15 minutes.
That's possible. Yep.
It's actually.
But then I'd totally throw another wrench in your key and tell you that security system would spin over and not start.
You would have.
Y'all are making me sad.
Yeah.
No.
But the good news is on yours. Do what now?
Sorry. I said we already run up about a $10,000 bill for diagnostics.
Yeah, we did. But the good news on yours is probably going to be something pretty simple.
Well, that sounds great.
Okay.
All right, John. Thank you for calling.
I'll get it to you. And I want to thank y'all for showing up today in this bad weather. If it was me, I'd have just had Ashley come down to the studio and run a rerun.
There you go.
So
well,
you guys,
John, if we did that, you wouldn't have been able to call in.
Well, I know Ashley's home phone number, so I'd have called in and got him to tell me something. He'd have lied if he didn't know what he was talking about.
There you go.
Well, that's radio. If you don't know, you can make something up.
Yeah.
There you go. He's the best at it. Unless it's sports, and he's dead on all that.
Oh, he is.
No doubt.
Amazing.
All right, thanks so much, and appreciate you being there.
Thank you, John. We do appreciate it. And the number to call, 706-863-5800, and that's from 8 to 10, anywhere that you might be on Saturday mornings. And where are we going?
All right, let's go over to James, Aaron.
Hey, James, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Thank you. Good morning to y'all. I appreciate y'all being there, too, this morning.
No problem.
Thank you for calling.
I have I called y'all 2 weeks ago about another problem, and y'all helped me out big time. It was that marquee had at 4.6, and it was skipping every now and then.
Right.
Y'all said it was a coil plug or a coil. Long story short, y'all told me about mode 6.
That's right.
Darn if my scanner didn't have something called a non-continuous test, and it was in there.
Oh, very cool.
It showed it was missing, but it didn't hit the value to make it trip the code to the check engine light.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Short, it was a coil plug boot.
That's right.
It was dry rotted.
Very good.
$6, I was back on the road.
Very
I
nice.
appreciate
Awesome.
that. Problem I'm having is this car. I just got it a few weeks ago, just before that, and it the airbag light would come on and flash 3 times, go off, flash 3 times. Well, and then it also had a ding that would come on like a seatbelt chime or something that would ding 5 times for 5 cycles of 5 times. And it would go off for about 20 or 30 minutes and do the same thing. Well, I did some checking on the internet. Google's my friend, so.
They're the number one diagnostician.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I went to the junkyard and got a restraint module.
Right.
And put it in there, and it cleared that code for the airbag. So the light's off. It's no longer flashing, but I still got the ding. Any ideas what that ding could be?
Is it a chime, like it's a ding that, like, does it go off when you put it in gear, or is it at idle, or when does it do it?
It doesn't matter if I'm in gear or at idle. Once I start the engine, it gives it about a minute and 30 seconds to a minute, and it'll chime whether I'm in gear going down the road already or if it. And every time I start it up, it'll do that.
This sounds crazy.
No matter if I'm sitting at the idle or not.
Does it ding before you put it in drive?
It will if I sit there in idle.
The reason I say is technically it doesn't look for seat belts being latched until it sees vehicle movement. So I was trying to rule that out. The only other thing I can think of is the dings that it would do is, of course, if key is in ignition, which obviously it is, it's running, or if the lights were left on. For some reason, what about all the door ajar switches? Do they seem to operate properly? It never gives you a message that a door is open?
Once I got the airbag light out, it went away. There was no more lights on the dash after you. Of course, your initial when you start it up and all the test lights come on and go off.
Right. The only other thing, we're about to run into a quick break, James. The only other thing I can think of is 9 times out of 10, those modules have to be reprogrammed for the vehicle's specific information. So it could have a mismatched program. So that may be something for us to look into also.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Time for a quick break. When we return, I'll mention something that you can do that will help you to see better when driving, plus it'll help you to look cool. We'll be right back.
What's the smart way to buy a nice used car, Aaron?
You have two routes that you can go, Sherry. You can decide what you want and what you plan to spend. Then you can hit the internet to find a car, take your weekend or time off work, and go look for the car, and then hope that the person who's selling the car is honest and that the title is good, because once you buy it, you are on your own. The second way, my personal favorite, is to trust an honest and dependable professional who has been in the automobile business for over 30 years. And instead of spending your weekend looking at cars, you can ask your used car advisor to find a vehicle that you really want. If he doesn't already have it in stock, then you confidently buy the car from Philip Hawkins at Philip Hawkins Motor Company. Call 803-593-5990 or visit their showroom at 2000 Jefferson Davis Highway in Graniteville, South Carolina. For more information, go to hawkinsmc.com.
Thanks, Aaron. I'll call Philip Hawkins today.
Aaron Clements for Napa Auto Care Center.
Regular maintenance is the key to getting the most out of your vehicle, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice trust and peace of mind when finding a repair center for your automobile. Napa Auto Care Centers are built around a high-quality standard whereby independent repair business owners are invited to join based on integrity, qualifications, and expertise. That's how Napa Auto Care ensures that you get the best-in-class service that you deserve. From routine maintenance to major repairs, you are covered with ASE-certified technicians who use high-quality Napa parts and provide exceptional work that you can feel confident about, knowing it's backed by a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. With the largest network of independent technicians in the U.S., a Napa Auto Care Center is sure to be near wherever you may be.
Thanks, Aaron. For a list of Napa Auto Care Centers near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com or dial 1-800-LET-NAPA.
You're listening to the CNC Auto Show with Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney, two ASE certified master technicians who really appreciate you taking your time to join us today. We'll be right back with more from Aaron and John Ryan in just a couple of minutes. So stay right where you are for more great car care advice on the CNC Auto Show.
As a young teenage boy, I didn't even know what autism was. How do you even spell that? A few years later, I heard that a friend's cousin's son had been diagnosed with autism. I still wasn't sure what that really meant.
When I went to college, my roommate's brother had autism. When I moved to the city for work, my best friend called me and told me his son had been diagnosed with autism. We were both in shock. I still remember the day I walked into the house and saw that look on my wife's face. I knew something was wrong. I'll never forget how I felt when she said, "Our son has autism."
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
If you are a good professional automotive repair facility, consider Wetzel's Automotive. Wetzel's Automotive is a Napa Auto Care Center located at 2017 Augusta Road in West Columbia. As a Napa Auto Care Center, they follow a strict code of ethics so customers know up front what to expect. They have ASE certified technicians and a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty on most repairs, and they have the Napa name to back it up. The Wetzel's Automotive team are true professionals with training and equipment to perform all major and minor repairs, including the more complex issues. And if you plan to keep your car for many years, Wetzel's is the place to go. They will keep you informed of preventative maintenance services that will keep your vehicle safe and dependable for many years to come. So if you are looking for a good repair facility to service your vehicle, call Wetzel's Automotive. The number to call is 803-739-2999.
You're listening to the CNC Automotive Show.
We do want to welcome you back, and something that you can do that will help you to see better when driving is to have your eyes checked yearly and always have your prescription glasses and sunglasses available when driving. And a lot of times it don't hurt to have a spare set of sunglasses just laying in your glove box in case you forget the pair that you normally wear.
Right.
having your eyes checked on a regular basis is a very good idea, because many times if you were to mention to the eye doctor that you were having trouble seeing at night, there's a lot of things that can be done now that the doctors can do that will help you to be able to see at night. And that might include glare-resistant glasses, eyeglasses. Of course, there's different types of sunglasses that you can get that can be very helpful. But also there's some surgery that can be done that can help you drive at night, especially if you plan to have cataract surgery or something like that anyway. There's things that they can do to really improve your night vision. Okay, John Ryan, it is time to go to the calls. Just before we do, I'm going to mention 706-863-5800. That's any Saturday morning from anywhere that you might be. Give us a call.
Okay, let's go over to Jeff.
Perfect. Good morning, Jeff, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a Kia Cadenza. It's a 14 model, but I cannot get this UVO voice recognition to work no matter what I do.
Jeff, say that one more time. You can't get what to work now?
I got the UVO voice recognition. I can't get it to work. I've tried everything in the world.
You're talking about that's like your all-wheel drive system, right?
No, the voice recognition computer.
Oh, okay.
It's a Cadenza, Kia Cadenza.
Uh-huh.
But it's just like the voice recognition when I push the button on the steering wheel and say navigation. It's just like, did you say bam? Did you say bam? And I'm like, no, no. And
next thing you know, you're punching the radio.
Yeah, I've tried everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, one thing that you have probably done this, but it is something I would definitely recommend. Have you really just sit down in a nice, quiet area and went through the owner's manual on that system?
No, I have not.
Yeah, because there's a lot of little circumstances that has to be there and in place before that system will work. And it.
Well, I figured what it was. This guy came from New Hampshire, so he was speaking a different language.
That
we got a different language. We got a different language in Georgia, so
that's right.
Well, and that is possible.
That's what I was going to suggest, Jeff. Have you ever had anybody else try it? Just to see if
the car came from New Hampshire, so I figured there's no way I could match his speech.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, get somebody to see if it'll work for somebody else. Not saying the problem's you; it just might not recognize you.
Maybe you two might not be hitting it off right off the bat. Have you thought?
Did you try eHarmony?
Yeah. Have you tried therapy? You could go to.
I need to go to auctioneer school. That's what it is.
That would do it.
To speak real fast. I can't understand what they're saying. It's like with that Harry Potter stuff that people watching on TV. I said, I don't know what in the world they're saying.
No, I would sit down and go through the owner's manual. There might be some type of process that you have to go through to make that work. And what John Ryan mentioned, I mean, is something just to think about. I mean, give it some thought there on doing that. But I tell you what, you do have my interest up. Would you do me a big favor? And if you try one of those two items or you do something else and it works, would you call us back next week and get us up to date on this? I'm very interested.
Sure. Yeah, because it's driving me crazy.
Just don't change yourself.
Yeah. No, I'm not. We don't do the gender thing around here, buddy. There's no change.
All right, let us know, Jeff. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it very much. Hey, let's see here.
What do you think? We got 2 minutes left. You want to get Ron? We'll put him on hold.
No, let's get Ron when we get back because it'll give us a chance to mention one thing. Fix it a week. Do you have one? If you don't, I do.
No, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give a fix.
Oh, actually, well, yeah, go ahead.
We had a little. Might be fast, so you still might have time. I think this was a little Toyota. The vehicle was involved in a little bit of an accident. Fuel gauge didn't work right. We went in, put a sending unit in. It worked at first. Short period of time later, sending unit started acting up again.
Right.
Checked it every time we would take the sending unit out and tested it would work perfect.
Yep.
Well, come to find out, we looked at the float, looked at everything. There was a little small baffle inside the tank that had barely moved enough to where when the fuel was filled up, it would raise, and then it would catch on that baffle coming back down and hold it to make it look like it still had gas in there.
Man.
Turned out to be no parts involved to fix that part, just a matter of bending the little thing around.
All right, good deal.
Okay, so we're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we'll be going to Ron and Tom and others there, and we'll also tell you something to keep in mind when you're packing for a trip. We'll be right back.
Aaron Clements for Napa Auto Care Center.
Regular maintenance is the key to getting the most out of your vehicle, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice trust and peace of mind when finding a repair center for your automobile. Napa Auto Care Centers are built around a high-quality standard whereby independent repair business owners are invited to join based on integrity, qualifications, and expertise. That's how Napa Auto Care ensures that you get the best-in-class service that you deserve. From routine maintenance to major repairs, you are covered with ASC-certified technicians who use high-quality Napa parts and provide exceptional work that you can feel confident about, knowing it's backed by a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. With the largest network of independent technicians in the U.S., a Napa Auto Care Center is sure to be near wherever you may be.
Thanks, Aaron. For a list of Napa Auto Care Centers near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com or dial 1-800-LET-NAPA.
What's the smart way to buy a nice used car, Aaron?
You have two routes that you can go, Sherry. You can decide what you want and what you plan to spend. Then you can hit the internet to find a car, take your weekend or time off work, and go look for the car, and then hope that the person who's selling the car is honest and that the title is good, because once you buy it, you are on your own. The second way, my personal favorite, is to trust an honest and dependable professional who has been in the automobile business for over 30 years. And instead of spending your weekend looking at cars, you can ask your used car advisor to find a vehicle that you really want. If he doesn't already have it in stock, then you confidently buy the car from Philip Hawkins at Philip Hawkins Motor Company. Call 803-593-5990 or visit their showroom at 2000 Jefferson Davis Highway in Graniteville, South Carolina. For more information, go to hawkinsmc.com.
Thanks, Aaron. I'll call Philip Hawkins today. Thank you for sharing your morning with us right here on the CNC Auto Show, hosted by Aaron Clements and Ryan Mooney, two ASC certified master technicians who believe in helping you make your car run better and last longer while saving you money and having fun, all at the same time. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
This entire piece of music is played with only two instruments, a right hand and a left hand. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life with hands-only CPR. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands-only CPR is recommended by the American Heart Association, and it's incredibly easy and effective. Find out more about this latest method of CPR at handsonlycpr.org. The power to help save a life is in your hands. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
One of the things that I really enjoy doing is letting you know where good Napa Auto Care Centers are located. And here's one that I know you'll like. The name is 3-Man Auto Service. They are located at 1215 Rosewood Drive in Columbia. 3-Man Auto Service has the equipment and training to perform all major and minor repairs on your car, truck, or SUV. That includes everything from a basic oil change and lube on up to a computer system diagnostic test. And if you have a diesel engine that is in need of repairs or maintenance, 3-Man Auto Service is the place to go. As a Napa Auto Care Center, they have ASC certified automotive technicians and have a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty on most repairs. That's 3-Man Auto Service, 1215 Rosewood Drive. The number to call is 803-748-0932.
That's 803-748-0932.
You're listening to the CNC Automotive Show.
And something that you should keep in mind when you're packing for a trip is visibility. Don't pack the car so full that you cannot see behind you, and less items may mean more safety in some cases. And give us a call Saturday mornings 8 to 10 anywhere that you might be. 863-5800. That's 706-863-5800. And John, Ryan, where we're going?
Let's go get Ron, Aaron.
I think we agreed on that just before the break, didn't we?
We did.
Good morning, Ron, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Aaron and John Ryan. I hope y'all got the heater on.
Yeah, we got it going.
It is
good,
fired
good.
up.
It's a Robert Frost kind of morning over here. I'm just watching the woods here fill up with snow.
All right.
You know, we were talking earlier about windshield wipers. I tell you, where I've messed up a couple of occasions is leaving my intermediate wipers on from the previous night, and then getting in it the next morning, and automatically they go to come on,
right,
and have pulled my little rubber strip out.
Yep, it'll damage them quick, won't it?
Yeah, it's a good idea when you come in at night to go ahead and cut your wipers in the off position and wait for them to go all the way down to park if you're not in a garage or something along those lines.
Exactly. And, you know, you earlier you're talking about the smart cars. You know, even now the television drama shows are working them into their scripts for their vulnerability. I like to watch Elementary. And, you know, it's the Sherlock Holmes kind of a show. And I mainly watch it just because of Lucy Liu. But in this past episode, two bad guys had just committed an assassination. And the person that set up the assassination killed the two bad guys by hacking into the smart car and turning off the seat belts, turning off the airbags, and crashing the car.
Oh, wow.
Both of them.
I was going to say, I know you're not going to say they got away in a smart car.
And they're still working on that. From what I understand, it's still, you know, that vulnerability in these smart cars to where they can be hacked into.
Right, and I think that's going to be a problem eventually. I mean, you will be having to buy Norton antivirus for your car.
Yeah, for your Ford.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to turn into one of those vehicles where you got to sneak up on to get into.
Yep, you're right.
Look, you guys have a safe weekend and drive careful.
All right, you too, Ron.
And Ron.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that we have Ron on one of the other lines. Don't listen just in case it's you. It may create a paradox. That's pretty deep. Thank you, Ron.
I know. I wake up in a different universe.
We appreciate it.
See y'all.
All right. The number 706-863-5800. Let's go to
Tom if he didn't hang up after that joke.
Tom, welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Thank you, guys. I really have two things, but the one I mentioned was I'm looking at a friend of mine has a Lexus RS 350 that they're offering for sale. They've got meticulous records. They've taken good care of it, but it's got 172,000 miles on it, and it's in 2007. Is the mileage something I should be concerned about? I mean, the records are great. Everything's good.
Right. Tom, no doubt, number one, that vehicle, that's one of my favorite vehicles. They're just beautiful to drive. They're really a bulletproof powertrain. Fantastic vehicle. With everything you're mentioning, if they've got all the records like that, biggest thing would be timing belt. You know, the timing belt's going to be coming up. How many miles did you say?
172,000.
172.
And it's just somebody that does a lot of traveling. She does, you know, long distance driving.
Right.
And she's just thinking it's time to get another vehicle for herself. And,
sure.
But like I said, she's the interior's great, the exterior's great. Never been in a wreck. She just put new tires on it.
Right. Yeah, the biggest thing would be just being prepared for another timing belt job at around $200,000 if you did purchase it. But with all the records, if they all line up, all the maintenance has been on top of it. The mileage is something I wouldn't even look
Miles
at. I wouldn't think about it one bit
in the world.
Yeah.
We were looking for another parts vehicle for the shop here, and I had a specific type vehicle in mind, a specific color and everything, and wanted a 4-door truck.
Right.
And so because it was kind of dual purpose.
Yeah.
And the only one I could find is, as far as looking around, I found a lot of them with lower mileage.
Well,
I didn't feel like
the
was
budget
taken
you were
care
looking
of.
for too.
But what I found, then finally the one I found actually had something like 250,000 miles. And even though it had more miles than the few other ones that I had looked at, I chose it because I knew that it had been taken care of. And so miles don't scare me when a vehicle's been taken care of. And it's got good bones.
And then that's very true because, Tom, I would rather the vehicle you're specifically talking about versus that same vehicle with 100,000 miles. It hasn't been washed in a month. The seats are dirty. Clearly been neglected. I would rather the one with the higher mileage with all the records myself.
Okay. All right. And if I may, a second thing?
Absolutely.
I have a 2004 F-150. You guys recently put an engine in it for me, and it's basically my honey's truck, and she's got a birthday coming up. I was wondering, do you guys do the remote start thing? Do you guys install the remote start?
We haven't ventured in that area, mainly because some of the remote starts when remote starts came out, they just weren't, what's the best word for it, Aaron? Perfected, I guess.
Yeah, that would be
they had a lot of issues with them. Now, by far, today's systems are way better, but no, that's not the system that we've really dove into terribly much. Normally, that's one of those areas that's electronics add-ons, like such as TVs and radios and stuff like that. But we typically repair just back to factory condition.
And that's the big thing when you get it done. Do get a good professional shop to do it. That handles that sort of thing, because there are the systems. You can get a real good system, but if it's not installed correctly, you can run into problems, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that the person that's doing it, is doing the proper joints as far as where they tie into. Because a lot of the fly-by-night type places, they kind of use temporary what they call Scotch locks. They basically just piggyback butt connectors and stuff like that. No doubt that'll work for a year, but then it'll cause all kinds of havoc.
Like I did with the trailer lights on another vehicle.
Oh, I wasn't talking about you though, Tom. No, you did it right.
He rolled his eyes when he said that, Tom.
Yeah. But
okay.
All right.
She's not listening, and that was something I had in mind for her for a birthday present. Just wondered if that was something you guys did. Because, like I said, I've dealt with you guys a whole bunch.
Sure, that'll be a great present. Appreciate the call.
All right, thank you,
Tom. Thank you very much. And we are getting a little too close to be able to go to the next caller, and we're in it. It would be Ron, but the only trouble is Ron was just on the phone, and we talked about our watch out. But I'm hoping that Ron will give us a call.
Yeah, hopefully he'll jot his message down and give us a call next week.
Exactly. But we do want to say thank you. We had a great time talking about C and B scene. There was a lot of neat stuff, and hopefully we gave somebody some tips on
you told
how
a lot
to
of bad jokes.
Prepare for that type driving. And C and B scene, that's something that you need to remember as you're driving and as you're preparing your vehicle for, especially driving in more darkness and driving in the winter months. Want to say thank you all that tuned in and logged in, and especially that called into the C Automotive show. Time to shut this hour down, but we'll be cranking up a whole new hour before you know it. Remember that you can watch us live on Saturday mornings at ccautomotive.com, and you can also catch us on Facebook, and you can watch this show and past shows on YouTube. And we will see you again next week on the C Auto Show.
I have found that one of the most important ingredients to quality car repair, whether you're repairing it yourself or having it repaired, is to use good quality parts. That's why I've been using and recommending Napa parts for many years. They fit, they work, and they last, and they have the Napa name backing that up. Professionals do not like having to do a job over, and that's why so many professional shops use Napa Auto Parts. My guess is that you don't want to do the job over either, and that's why you should use Napa Parts also. So for a Napa Auto Parts store near you, go to NapaOnline.com and search for the store that is most convenient for you. You'll also see a lot of neat specials and some very useful information. So get the good stuff. Get Napa Auto Parts.